There's a belief that law enforcement, not specific to the city of San Jose, but law enforcement may be making car stops based on race and gender and dress.
The American Civil Liberties Union today kicked off a statewide campaign to tackle what it calls a disturbing trend, racial profiling.
When patrolling our nation's roads, the only colors the police officers ought to be concerned about are red and green traffic lights, yellow lines in the road. It should not be a signal for police officers to stop someone who's innocently driving down the highway simply because of their color. DWB, driving while black, is a threatening condition.
News campaign announcement today said they have been victims. Raymond Marshall, president of the California State Bar, says a police officer followed him into his driveway late one evening and asked if he lived in the house.
He then asked what I thought was the second question: could you tell me the address of where you've pulled into? I identified the address, the correct address, remarkably enough, and the officer then proceeds to simply thank me for cooperating, offer no reason for why we would trail.
The ACLU contends stops of that nature exacerbate the often hostile relationship between police and minorities. The group says since it began a racial profiling hotline last year, it has received some 1,000 complaints from Californians who were stopped by police.
And that is in many cases illegal.
So today, San Jose's new police chief announced that his department will follow San Diego's lead as the second department in the country to voluntarily track the race and gender of every person on foot or in a car stopped by an officer in this city and the reason for the stop. That's about 120,000 a year, he says. Only about half of those result in a citation or arrest.
I think the San Jose Police Department profiles just like any other police department.
A certain number of the members of the community feel as though they are stopped because they might look a certain way or have a certain lifestyle.
African-American officers say they tracked police stops for a short time about 8 years ago and that the results were disturbing.
We're 5% of the population. We found out that we're 15% of the stops. I don't know why those numbers would change. We haven't had any training or looked at the issue.
The chief says now his officers will go back to the police academy for lessons on probable cause and for sensitivity training.
It's humiliating and demeaning. Having your car searched, being frisked, being asked about who you are and what you're doing in a particular neighborhood. All of these things are painful reminders that you're really a second-class citizen.